what's up guys? John here. Roughly 9 out of 100 renters are scheduled to be evicted inside of the next 60 days. We don't really hear about this so much on television. I think this is going to really be the beginning of something unique inside of the housing market. I think what we're going to start to see is rents fall. We're starting to kind of see it in some markets. They're saying rents are starting to come down, but the trend may not hold. I believe what we are going to see is we're going to see more competition coming on the market for rent. People are going to say, you know what, maybe the time to sell my home was 6 months ago or a year ago. I can no longer get the price that I wanted. Maybe I'll rent the property. It's a hedge against inflation. It's holding a real hard asset. I could rent it out. I could receive passive income. There's tax benefits. Maybe I just do this, right? There's going to be a lot of people that start moving in this direction in the year or two to come, where they just list their property for rent. If that does in fact happen, there's going to become more supply. This also happens on the other side of where property developers are. Property developers are finishing up 1.5 to 1.7 million homes, and they're coming to market inside of the next 12 months. These home developers, they bought their lots thinking that, hey, I'm going to find a buyer at a 3% rate. Now rates are 6%. Now a lot of these buyers are priced out. So what are they going to do? These developers are either going to list their entire communities for rent, which we're hearing a lot about now, or sell their communities to private equity firms, and those private equity firms are going to list these properties for rent. So there's going to likely be a lot more supply coming to market, and with that supply, we're going to start to see prices likely come down. This is also happening at the same exact time where a lot of people in the retirement age, they are looking at, they thought they were safe, right? They thought that everything was going to be safe. They were going to have a nice, comfortable retirement. Now the 401ks are getting punished. The stock market, their stock portfolios are getting punished. They are questioning just how strong they are financially on the back of inflation over the next 10 or 20 years, right? We're going to see a lot of these people either forced to sell their properties or rent these properties out and move in with their son or daughter or live in some other type of accommodation. We're going to start to see a lot of people move into different situations in the next couple of years. And I think that this is going to really be a unique caveat to the housing market. We're also going to likely see interest rates continue to rise in the short term. And if this does in fact happen, what's going to happen? We're going to see rental property valuations coming down. These valuations are going to be coming down as rents are starting to come down and interest rates are rising, meaning the cost to borrow money is getting more expensive, and the cash on that being spit out from that building is not going to be as valuable based on the cost to borrow the money, right? We're going to start to see investors getting a lower cost basis on rental properties, which is going to really kind of squeeze a lot of landlords that overpaid for multifamily properties in the last couple of years, which is a lot of them. And they bought these commercial properties on 3-year, 5-year, 7-year ARMs, hoping that, you know what, we're going to be in a 3% environment forever, right? I can always refinance the property later after I fix it up and increase rents and do everything I want to do with the property. I can refinance it later. But if they bought it at 3%, interest rate, and now rates are 6% or 5.5% or 7% or 8% in 6 months or a year, then what ultimately happens is that these people could be underwater on their properties and not get that refinance, and they could be holding a property that's costing them more money than they're making. So a lot of curveballs are going to be coming to the housing market. Here's what we know for sure right now. Please hit that like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's going on in the housing market. If you want to fix your credit, my team of credit repair specialists is absolutely incredible at cashnow.video. You want to get into YouTube, you want to get into real estate, cashnow.video. Take a look at this. Census Bureau, 3.8 million renters will likely be evicted in the next 2 months. Why this rental crisis keeps getting worse. Now, how did I come up with, about 9% of all renters are getting evicted? Well, it says that these renters, right? These renters here, those rising rents mean that households representing a total of 8.5 million people are behind on their rent. So how many renters are in America? 44 million renters in America. The Housing Vacancy Survey put the number of rental households at 44 million, right? And now they are saying that of that 44 million, 3.8 million of those renters say they are somewhat or very likely to be evicted inside of the next 60 days. So you just take the 40 million divided by the 3.8 million divided by 44 million, it's going to give you the 8.6, right? And that's where we are right now. This is also going to be happening at, right around the winter months. What I think could happen also is we see utility bills start to rise, and that could push a lot of tenants to have a conversation with themselves. Hey, who do I pay? Do I pay Edison or do I pay my landlord, right? People are going to start paying their utilities before they pay the landlords because, they don't want to freeze during the winter, right? So we're going to see some very unique caveats and very unique changes coming to the housing market. Those rising rents mean that households representing a total of 8.5 million people were behind on their rent at the end of August, according to the Census Bureau figures, and 3.8 million of those renters say that they're somewhat or very likely to be evicted. So 8.5 million total, right? So if you just look at what this would actually mean, 8.5 million total, you have a total of 19% of renters are behind on their rent, right? 19%, and we have about 8.6 that are completely, at the point of eviction. The combination of soaring inflation, the end of the most eviction moratoriums, and rental assistance payments, the extremely low vacancy rate has pushed rents and many more renters out. Rents up nearly 25% before the pandemic. Since 2006, rents have risen faster than home prices, but at the same time, the shortage of available rental units has steadily increasing since the Great Resignation. In the year before the pandemic, the country recorded a shortage of 7 million affordable housing units for low-income renters, according to the Center of American Progress, creating a crisis that just left 37 affordable rental homes for every 100 low-income households looking for rent. And the homes that were available are often still out of reach. Rent rates are up nearly 25% since the pandemic, with an increase of 15% in just the past 12 months, according to the real estate tracking service Zillow. Evictions are up too. According to the Eviction Lab at Princeton University, in August, evictions were 52% above average in Tampa, 90% above average in Houston, 94% above average in Minneapolis, St. Paul. While the federal government has distributed the bulk of the pandemic-related rental assistance grants, some states and cities have been slow to make the money available to landlords on behalf of tenants who can't pay the rent. Now, some of them, some of these states, I'm sure, issued the money out and, landlords got paid. However, when you look at the data from Florida, from California, from New York, you would think that, Florida would be issuing a lot more payments to landlords given the narrative, right? But the narrative of landlords getting the money in Florida has not exactly been true. What's ultimately been happening is only between 2 and 3% of all landlords that have requested the funds have actually received the funds. Same in line with New York, California, same. So they're all making the distributions, very similarly to one another, right? So a lot of these landlords are really in distress, and these landlords, not many of them are going to be able to hold on. So these landlords may be selling their rental properties at a price point in which they were not anticipating in a higher interest rate environment, meaning they might end up getting a lot less for these properties, right? So these new investors are going to be able to take advantage of that. That's why I do think right now is an incredible time to learn about real estate, because there's so much changing. Over the last 6 months, last year, everyone on TikTok was talking about making money in Airbnb, making money as a landlord, making money flipping houses, right? It was like a big surge of confidence inside of the real estate space, and there were so many people jumping into the housing market that had no real clue of what they needed to understand, what they needed to know, understand anything about real estate. They just jumped in because it was a mania. But that mania is going to start getting pulled out. We're already starting to see it, and I think that as people start to really dislike real estate, which will happen soon, there's going to be a big opportunity. Well, one famous investor, Carl Icahn, said, "My job as an investor is to buy things when no one wants them and to sell things when everyone must have them," right? Soon, that is going to be true with real estate. As of May, the National Low Income Housing Coalition reported that 12 states and the District of Columbia had distributed half of the last assistance allocations, while Idaho, Iowa, and Ohio hadn't spent any of that money. 2 states, Nebraska and Arkansas, refused to accept the federal rent assistance money. Nearly half of renters have seen rent hikes. The annual median household income for all renters in the United States is about $42,500, according to Zillow, 37% lower than the national median income of $67,500. As of August, the Census Bureau reported that 56% of renters had household incomes of less than $50K. 24% of those renters surveyed were paying more than $2,000 per month in rent. Nearly half of all renters, more than 30 million people, had been hit with rent hikes in the past 12 months, with 19% paying a monthly increase of $100 to $250, 7% paying $250 to $500 more, and 4% needing to find another $500 a month to stay in their apartments. To meet higher rents, 57% of renters said they relied on credit cards, loans, savings, or selling off some of their assets, including raiding their retirement accounts. Despite that, 14% of retirement renters told a survey that they were completely caught up on back rent. Now, this is also happening where landlords are going to be paying increased property taxes, increased insurance costs. They are also paying for increased costs to maintain and service their buildings, labor costs going up. Everything is going up for landlords, right? It's not just landlords are increasing rents because they want to. I'm sure some, but most are experiencing their own prices going up. The same thing we're seeing when you even go to Netflix, you go to Whole Foods, you go to any store, prices are going up across the board. Really, it's the targets on the back of landlords, right? But everything is going up. Car insurance is going up. Everything is going up equally. Rising rents hurting some more than others. Rising rents are hitting minorities harder than others, according to Pew Research, right? So what do you guys think about this? Where do you guys see this whole trend going? Do you think we're going to see this 3.8 million renter, wave of evictions coming in the next 60 days, and that number's only going to continue to rise and rise and rise as we step into the problems that I discussed earlier in the video? I'm very curious as to what you think. Drop your comments below. Hit the like button. Subscribe here. Also subscribe on my second channel. It's an interactive podcast. I'm speaking with a couple private equity guys this Friday and next Friday. So it's going to be a really, really cool show. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe there. I just had a really great show last week as well. And I'll leave the link down below. If you want to fix your credit, you want to get into real estate, you want to start on YouTube, cashnow.video. If you are in business, let's say you're in solar sales, real estate, you're a mortgage lender, real estate agent, any of those industries in which you come in contact with customers that need credit repair services, join my affiliate program. You can receive monthly passive income. You can receive opportunities for sponsorships and endorsements on this channel for your business. There's a lot of perks, a lot of benefits, so be sure to check it out and see if it's fit for you. And catch you guys in the next video.